Well. Here we are. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Round 10 player ratings, proudly brought to you by Doing a Bit. I'm Terry. I'm your host. Pommy's my co-host. Hello, mate. Good evening.
Hey up, how we doing?
Yeah, we're getting there, aren't we? Just another one.
I'm annoyingly peppy today, so enjoy.
Yeah, I had to have a quick shower before we started just to wash off the disappointment, and hopefully it was going to give me something. But yeah, it's going to be a long night, I think.
I mean, uh, it's not like we haven't done this before, Terry, is it? You know what I mean? Let's be honest.
Yeah, it isn't. It isn't. But we have a job to do, and that's what we're here for. So thanks for being here, everyone. Firstly, Narelle, welcome to membership of the Blue Broad YouTube channel. Great to have you here. Player ratings. This is what we do. For those of you who are new to the player ratings, we will go through every player that played. We will assess their performance only. We'll give them a vote between 0 and 10, 5 being a pass mark. Pommy and I will talk a little bit about our ratings, and then those of you in the audience will adjust us and keep us in line and keep us accountable. I will say this. I have not watched the replay yet, so I feel like I might have some things out of alignment, but we're going to have to wait and see. I don't even know Pommy's scores. Pommy, what about you, mate? What's on your mind here?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I've watched it twice since, so hence the peppiness. Because sometimes if you watch enough, you'll start to go mad. So they say. So I reckon I'm on that precipice, mate. I'm on the precipice.
Yeah. When you love something so much, you're willing to go to the lengths of your sanity. I don't know. Tells you everything. And that's what we're here for. We'll talk about it. We'll do this all over again next week, win, lose, or draw. And that's just what it's going to be.
We always show up.
Yeah.
Pom and
We always
Terry,
show
the dream on ball connection.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through player by player, talk about them. And again, just a reminder, this is not personal. It's only performance. We love our boys. So just want to make sure that we're all clear on that. Starting as the team was named, Weeders. He's, maybe not the best person to start with. Yeah.
Terry sending it downhill quickly. I mean, for me, the big thing about Big Jacob, right, is I have a theory and I want people to hear it out, right? And I'd love everyone's feedback. I've watched him at length and then I went back and watched him last year. And then I watched him, in the good year, right? A couple of years before where he was raved about. I genuinely think this role isn't suited to him because I've looked at his kicking back then as well. It was never ambitious. Let's say that. It was always the safe short kick. Now, I watch this and I just think, I wouldn't say he's missing Liam Jones, but I think he's missing Liam Jones-esque player who Liam Jones just used to get the ball, bang, it was gone. Wheater I don't think can do the be a ball user and be a defender. I think it's actually taking it away. I can list you 1,000 centre backs in soccer that are like that. So I just watch him and I think it's killing his game having to think about the kicks because some of the kicks he made, even though his disposal efficiency isn't too bad for a key defender, it's just below the AFL average this week. Some of them, the players are working hard just to even get that disposal to be classed as an effective disposal. I don't think he can do both.
Yeah. I mean, I said it last week and I'll say it again. He's going through some shit. He's struggling for confidence at the moment and he's just got to fight through it and get through the other end. I think I judge Wiedering harshly because of what I expect from him. I have him with Darcy Moore in that caliber. And right now, in this moment, that sounds ridiculous. I know it does. But that's where I have him. I think he's one of the best defenders in the competition when he's up and running. And this year, so far, he's probably had a couple of good games early on, and he's just struggled. I think the big one in this Collingwood game was his direct opponent for the majority of the game. I know that they play a zone for the most part, but gave up a lot of space to Myercheck, as well as not having the influence down back as what we need him to. So it has to turn at some point. I don't know what the magic formula is for him, but we need him back. This is not him. This is not a reflection of who he is.
Sounds harsh, and I never would try and be harsh. But if, let's just say, the off-field stuff is affecting him,
Yep.
as the leader of a football club, why are you turning up? Like if that is true, let's just say that is true. It's obvious it's affecting him. It's obvious. So, I know you're robbing Peter to pay Paul by bringing in a Kemp. He's undersized, or Marchbank is way too early, right? Because he only played 28 minutes of the VFL. But surely you're looking at it that way, because at the moment he looks lost. And like you say, the spatial awareness, he's got the spatial awareness at the moment of a mole. And they're blind, for those who don't get the joke.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough going for a lot of them. And I just hope we get him back soon. He's got to get himself right. And yeah, this is a challenge for him. It's not going to, I don't think it's going to define his entire career. I think he's going to come through it. It's just a matter of when and what he's doing. I don't have any worry or doubt that he's putting in the work to fix it, be better. We just got to get him back. The chat also say it's a 0. So we'll leave that there. So we haven't got a vote for Weeders at this stage. Lewis Young, I gave him a 1. You gave him a 2. I thought this was harsh from me as well. I just thought he set the tone really early with a few key errors and probably got better as the game went on. But ultimately, here's another one. We haven't quite got the same guy as last year, it seems.
Well, I mean, we'll come on to the guy why I gave him an extra vote, but 5 intercept marks, at least someone actually had the presence of mind to maybe take the ball in the air and stop it landing, because whenever the ball landed in our backline, Jesus, you might as well have just packed up shop at sometimes. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, this is a problem for me. He's higher rated by all of you in chat than Wheaterin. And Wheaterin's the senior, should be nursing this guy through hardship, not the other way around. And halfway through that game, Lewis Young looked the senior defender out the back, and credit to him, but there's a few big names down there who should be saying, "Nah, this is my back line." So fair play.
Yeah. Yep. I see a couple of 2s or 4, a couple of 1s, 3.
Terry isn't even talking about him. That's how much he's upset him.
I just expect better from him. I really do. I expect better from him. I know he's young, but I expect better from him. I'll bring him up to a 2. Maybe I was a bit harsh. Next up, Nick Newman. Both of us gave him a 2. What did you think about Newey's game? He gave away 3 free kicks, did some okay things at times, probably some undisciplined things at times as well. Just not a good game for him. He's had a good year, but this wasn't a good game.
For a guy that is taking, he's meant to be there to be that lockdown guy, to be behind on attempted tackles, pressure acts, then Charlie Kerner, behave. Behave. And the free kicks for me, that really kills me, because he, over the last 3 weeks, has actually started to annoy me that he looks the first to lose his rag when it's tough. When it's tough, I see petulance. And for a man that did an article in the press 3 weeks ago about he came here to be a leader and to nurse the troops through tough times, I can't see a guy that sees himself as a leader take the pina colada and give away the petulance that he does, because it's petulant stuff. And petulance, believe it or not, with my sense of humour, irks me.
Yeah, fair. I see quite a few 2s in the chat. I think we'll leave that one there. McGovern. Don't know what's happened to him. I thought he set himself up for a pretty good start of the season. Looked really forceful. And something over the last few weeks, he just hasn't been willing himself to impact the contest. I'm not sure how to explain it. I'm not sure how to feel about it, but it wasn't enough in this game.
It's a tough one. I mean, was the lowest ranked defender along with Nick Newman for pressure acts down the back for tackle attempts. He actually gave up on quite a few, which have been heavily documented. His marking reminded me of the England cricket team in the 90s, their ability to take something overhead. And his distribution kind of made Kim Jong-un jealous with how stingy he was with the ball. I mean this nicely. I've always been... I turned on him at the start and then I came into his favour. But out of contract this year, big contract, I expect a bit more. And I agree with Voss. People have slated Voss for his press conference saying the defence needs work. Game plan's built on quick ball use down the back. Mitch McGovern now has gone slower than Wheater in it, kicking the ball and taking away the initiative. So, yeah, bring Kemp in if that's the case. I'd rather put some time into Kemp, who I think is adequately the same at intercepting, and saying to him, take the game on, because at least Kemp hits the corridor. Like Mitch McGovern, I think all of his kicks went wide to the wing. One went out of bounds on the full. Bants.
Yeah. It was. And we need him to be a lot better than that, no doubt. So we'll keep that one at a 0. Sam Doherty, I think one of the few shining lights. I think more so from the standpoint of when you play Collingwood, how do you want them to play with that willingness? And I thought he displayed that. Yep. Some kicks were not great. Yep. Made some mistakes for sure. No doubt. The willingness to continue to keep at it is what separates him from everybody else in these ratings for me. So I gave him a 7.
I just felt it was an average game. I felt for the intensity around the ball and the pressure acts, they were elite. One of the few players to even flirt with elite numbers this game. Disposal efficiency, though, killed it. Especially, we're going to come on to the midfield and we'll probably talk about it more in the later show. But one of the number one suspects when he did go on the ball for just leaving Cripps to get absolutely crunched. A staggering statistic I've got for you later about Carlton's on the ball work this year. But yeah, good, okay game when you average it out.
Fair. I'll bring this one down to a 6 based off what I see in the comments. So we'll go there. Next up, Sardi. He flirted with a 4 for me. I'm not going to lie. Flirted with a 4, but I just scraped him in for a pass. Just.
I'd love this guy to break out. I don't know what's wrong with him. I'd love him to break, though. Just break some lines. I'm screaming at him on the TV. Just take the game on. Was okay, though, because I thought when the ball got loose, he won them battles. He was one of the few against some problems in that forward line who actually looked like he was trying to get there. But I'd love to see him take the game on a bit.
Yeah, no doubt. He's definitely down on his best, but he wasn't too poor. So I'll keep that one at a 5. Blake Acres. This was another one similar to Sard, where I was like, oh, I think I'm going to give him a 4, but I just, from my memory, again, haven't watched the replay, it just felt like, all right, tick the box, played to your strengths. Didn't kick the ball as much as what he usually does, did he? It was a high handball game from him.
It was a weird game from Blakers. I don't quite like. He's a deceptive player, is Blakers, because you could criticize him quite a bit, but he had 7 kicks at 100%. But I watched the replay the third time. His decision making was woeful. Like, you watch what he did with the ball. I think I counted 9 times in the second half. He hit someone who was about to be tackled, and Mate, take the meters gained. It's what you're there for.
Yeah, fair. I will keep this one out of 5 for Blakers. We go into the midfield. The skipper, Patrick Cripps. I gave him a 3. You gave him a 1. He's just not at his best for the last 3 weeks now, I think. This was definitely an improvement from last week. Last week, he didn't lay a tackle. But still...
That's good.
Yeah. But still not... Again, another one who's just not himself. Still not quite there. And he's one that we need a lot more from because he's the captain and he sets the tone. Yeah. It's not his best.
Pretty much the same. I felt in the first half when they were really down and lethargic, the most animated I saw him was having a little bit of a chat to Voss, and God knows what that was about, because a lot of people are saying it was heated. Jesus, if that's heated, fuck me. Don't watch an M. Night Shyamalan movie. But yeah, not the standard, bless him.
Yeah. The injury, someone came on the fan cams last night, made a donation and mentioned that there's an injury cloud. I don't know. We'll see the injury report this week. Based off him, he's a very proud player. Even when he was injured in, what was it, 2021, when he was having the injections, he always puts him. He never makes an excuse for himself. And yeah, we need him as well as quite a few others, especially the senior players, to help us get through this patch right now and start a little something.
Tell you what, with all the support, we'll talk about it later, but with all the support they've received from the powers that be, this is the making of Cripps. This is, as a leader, he's got to take it. He's got to take it. But yeah, I mean, what shits me about him, and it's the same when I see Harry and Kerno kick into inside 50. This guy, and who just said it there? Carey Family Adventures nailed it. This guy is probably the number 1 player in the league guilty of getting the shit he gets. It's like some of them hospital handballs, he must be sick of getting them, so stop giving them out. Like, yeah. I don't understand that. Like when Charlie and Harry kick inside 50 and it's like the worst kick, I'm like, boys, come on. And yeah. I agree with Sammy D. Like, stick your injury rumours up your ass. You walk through the white ground, that white line, on the ground for my football club. Don't care what's going on at home. I don't care what phone calls you've received. You have declared to me, yourself and your team, you're ready. And if we think like that and the players think like that, Jesus, like, we're screwed. Even more than we think we are.
True. It always seems to happen. He has a bad patch of form and we start talking about, oh, well, he must be injured. But
truth be told, this guy's harder than a coffin nail. He's probably always hurt.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt about it. So I'll bring it to a 2, what I saw in the chat. Next up is Mr. Cottrell on the wing. I gave him a 3, you gave him a 2. Just not enough. Just not enough.
Last week was good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, partly not to blame because he was playing the wing that Cowan didn't want a target. Bless him. If he was on the other wing, he could have had 80. But yeah, no Holland second half. Game was on the line and I wanted to see a little bit, apart from the occasional jumper punch. Not too sure what that was about, to be honest. His second half, I don't know if he was there, but building, I suppose. Best I can come up with.
Yeah, fair. I'll keep him at a 3. Ed Kerno, fascinating conversation, this one. I did the team show on Friday, and the outcry when he was named was there. To be fair to him, what was he in the side for? Clearly to play on Dacos. Now, over the course of the 4 quarters, did Dacos have the same influence that he's had when he's been at his best? No. So from that point of view, maybe it's a bit harsh on Ed giving him a 3. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how you see it, Pommy. So from that point, did it work? Did we quell Dacos' influence? Well, definitely not in the first half. But I just thought overall, that's just where I landed.
Well, I mean, people are saying that Dacos didn't impact, but ranked elite for score involvements in
Yeah.
this game. Do you know what I mean? He spread the play pretty well. He wasn't his greatest, Nick Dacos, so you could argue that him and Cottrell both had to deal with him, but he still found a way. The big thing for me is Nick Dacos is a great image. Nick Dacos punched Blake Acres in the rib.
Yeah.
Ed Kerno watched it happen.
Yeah.
Like, if you actually watch it, he's in between him, doesn't remonstrate with him. All he does is try and pick Blake up. Blake signals that he's been hit in the ribs and then walks off while the other Collingwood players are getting around Blake Acres on the floor. So for me, that's a big thing. I do think if you've rated him above a 3, you're clouded because Ed Kerno's been there a long time, which I would also suggest why, because there's a few players who have been there a long time.
Yeah.
It was
true.
It was.
Yeah. I'm going to keep it at a 3. We had a good little mix there. Jesse Motlop, I gave him a 4. You gave him a 2. Didn't find a way to get him a pass mark in this game. Thought he looked lively at times, particularly early from memory. And it looked like he was going to be dangerous, but just not in the forward 50, which is where we needed him to be.
I'll continue giving 2s to the small forwards until they can prove to me that they can stay and do their job for the entire game, because it's killing the system, like absolutely killing them. Decision making was woeful with shots at goal. One of the inside 50s absolutely scrubbed that, and I think Darcy Moore was very happy with that kick as well, because he was one of the few times Darcy Moore has been outsmarted by Charlie Kerner and got and Charlie would have been crying when he watches the footage back that he'd absolutely wrong-footed Darce. He's one of them annoying players that I feel like we've had a lot about, that he looks really good to the eye, but then you go and watch the replay down and watch it slowly. And then you look at them. And what's interesting enough, we'll probably talk more about it. I talked about it in my preview. Their average position, believe it or not, this will blag your head. Bobby Hill and Jamie Elliott is identical positions to Durden and Motlop.
Right.
Bobby Hill, that goal where he smoked Carlton's team, took that half-back flank, right? That's where Motlop goes. When do you see Motlop take the ball there in that contest and then finish and get inside 50? He's like the midfield. He gets caught behind the ground. So that worries me, to be honest. That worries me. Like, if he's going to do that, he's got to have the work rate and the commitment. But at the moment, him, lesser extent Durden, are doing the things that are easier on them in defensive. They need to get attacking.
Fair. I'll bring Mott's down to a 3. Silvani. Jack. Need more. Another one. I could probably say need more to 19 of them this week. Yeah. Need more. Need more. Need him to be better at this point. I was kind of hoping, I thought last year would have been the year where his game elevated. But again, we're not talking about the big picture. We're talking about this game. Yeah, needed more. Needed much more. He's not a little boy anymore.
You watch Ash Johnson, who played an identical role to this gentleman, with the exception, obviously, of the hit-outs attended. Obviously, that was a little bit different. He only attended a handful, though, to be fair. He only attended 16. But you watch at how Ash Johnson, how hard he works, marks on the lead, how hard he works to take marks higher up the ground. Nowhere near that level from Jack. And I don't know what's wrong with him. He usually I look at him and I think, you know what? Yeah, he's putting out. But this week, he struggled as well. And in the ruck, God bless him, I don't know how many times it happened again. It's just been publicised this week. But I think, what was that? 2 out of 3 clearances resulted in goals when Jack's in the ruck. Not too sure. He will be, in reality, if we're all being honest with ourselves and being fair, he should be worried because TDK had the same role, high half forward, and playing ruck, and did look pretty okay in VFL, apart from the 60-meter kick at our own goal. But I'm willing to forgive TDK for that.
Yeah. I think I gave him a 3 also, laid the 7 tackles. What did you think of him going back to start the third quarter? They put him back and they put McGovern forward.
Well, I mean, I know people get blinded because they've got this obsession because his dad was pretty good down back, he would be. But the one intercept mark that came 55 metres from goal, I think says it all. He was about as useful as Mr. McGovern down the back. So, I mean, for me, you don't have to play him because of his surname. Like, you've got to look at this. But he's not a defender because you watch him. He was matched up with Ash Johnson for 15 minutes. And Ash Johnson, I started to notice him. I'd forgotten Ash Johnson was there apart from the early thing. So, yeah, for me, not good enough.
Yeah.
Senior player now.
He is. That he is. All right. I'm going to bring this one down to... Oof. All right. Down to a 1. Down to a 1. Jackie boy.
Like, can you imagine him down back? He takes nearly the full 15, 16 seconds to take a kick. And we're slow kicking out the back now.
Yeah,
like,
true.
It's like Bolton era. Let's play more tolls. Let's just flood the forward line.
The Monstars, mate. Birds. I gave him a 4. You gave him a 3. Didn't lay tackle last week. He prides himself on that stuff. Laid 7 for the game, equal team high with Jack Silvani, who laid 7 as well. Didn't hit the scoreboard. That's the other critical element to his game when I look at the way he plays. 10-ish possessions, 5 to 7 tackles, 1 goal at least a game. That's generally, it's a very simplified way of looking at it. But yeah, we just touched on the small forwards earlier. And do you think it's just an instruction for them to continue to play up the ground the way they do? Because it happens so consistently, right?
People are very quick to criticize the game plan, and I just think it's a cop-out. I think it's a cop-out because I'd love someone in the greater region of Earth to tell me that there's a game plan anywhere where requires 0 tackles, 0 running ahead of the ball, 0 targets hit. If you know a game plan, let me know and let Voss know, because I think that might make his life easy. All the small forwards in the top 5 teams play a similar role to these guys. They run back and they run forward. Most of them are trying to spoil first before mark. You watch Corey Durden. I gave him more than Motts because he actually got back forward. He actually got back forward and laid them tackles in defensive transition, actually stopped 3 clear goals by chasing someone who came out of the back half. So that was more than Mottas did. So it's an issue for me, though, because he needs to start impacting forward of the ground. And that's my big issue with him. When the ball hits the deck, I don't see him.
Fair. Okay, I'll bring that one down to a 3. I'll meet you there. Charlie Curnow. I gave him a 6. Thought he just found a way to make it happen. Just found a way to make it happen. Competed all day. He's one of the few players in the team that have that mentality of he knows what he wants to do. Before he touches the ball, he knows what he wants to do, and he's proactive. And he takes, that kick. Thought he represented the game well enough.
Imagine living in a world that the second highest meters gained player on Carlton's team was Charlie Curnow. Just imagine a fucking world, living in that world, and then analyze. Oh, it's me. I have to analyze it. Fuck me. What is going on? Charlie Curnow and the Swiss Army knife of footballers, evidently. The 50% goal accuracy, 3 goals to 6 shots at goal, the 8 score involvements. I'm being a little bit harsh here, but I felt like I would have liked to have seen a bit more intent from him early doors. I thought it was just an average game. This is Charlie. I'm his number one fan. Like, honestly, I'm somewhere between his dad and his mum for love for Charlie. It's just an okay game. I felt like he could have done a bit more.
Fair. I will bring it back to a 5 from what I can see. Then we've got Harry. Big fella. Drop punt. Love to see it. It was interesting because this time last week he didn't kick a goal. Didn't he? No, didn't kick a goal last week. So he kicks his 2, bare minimum stuff. But then the other part of his game that he showed us last week wasn't quite there, and the impact around the ground. So he didn't have the full influence on the game as what he can. It was good to see him kick that goal early, get some confidence again, but also at the same time, senior player now, very, very highly paid in our top bracket, in our top 5 invested in players, and rightly so. But yeah, needed more. And again, it's a common phrase for tonight. Needed more.
I feel for him. I did enjoy. He feels like he's had a bandage on his head every game as well. This guy bleeds a bit for the football club, which does turn me on a little bit. I've got to admit, I like to see my players bleed and show a bit of heart. But yeah, I loved it. That was probably one of my takeaways. I enjoyed the love the players gave him. He's had a tough week, but I'd love to see him. And this is killing me. This is watching our football club. It's really killing me that I want to see some marks on the lead from these boys. Like, that's what they're paid for. Harry just had the 1, where last year he was nearly in the 3s, blazing out. He did all that work, didn't he, with that running company. So he's put a lot of time into it off the field. Has to start exercising that. And that goes across the board to 23 players, because our marks on the lead are atrocious around the ground. But really want to see him engage early. Take that on.
Yeah, there was a moment, one of the many Darcy Moore intercept marks, I think it was late in the game, and he kind of just brushed Harry aside. And look, Darcy's a good player, but I don't think he's that much stronger than Harry. And I thought there were quite a few contests where I felt like he could have been a little bit more stronger in that contest. Whether he's flopping or not, I'm not sure, but he didn't have this intensity about him to be the stronger person in the contest for long enough. So the goals came back, great. Need at least 2 a game, no problem. Tick the box. But yeah, need him to be a bit stronger. Need him more.
He needs to go to a little bit of Charlie advice, because I thought Charlie did really well at making sure the umpires saw them infringements. Charlie's a little bit too brave, I think. Yeah. Harry's too brave at times, too honest. I'd like to see Charlie did a really good job of flinging his neck back when Darcy Moore grabbed his beautiful long locks. I'd like to see a bit more of that.
Yeah. I'm going to keep that 1 out of 4. Pitto, I really struggled to judge the game. I didn't think it was quite a pass mark. I didn't think he was our worst. He's a battler. That's what he is. Needed more. 50th game. Love to see it. Love the way he competes and goes about it, but just needed more.
It's an interesting one, because you want to see, like, he nails everything he does. Like, Carlton are 3rd in the league from getting the first touch at stoppages and hitouts. Let that sink in. 3rd. That's a crazy stat. That's a crazy stat. They rank 16th from conversions from them avenues. Let that sink in. That's a conundrum. He does all the hard work. I'd love to see him have a secondary role, right? A secondary role. There's a great bit of footage. I want you all to go back to the first 2 centre bounces of the 3rd quarter. This guy just does his job and gets out of the way. and Mason Cox picks the ball up as the midfielders clash, he's already thinking about where he needs to be behind the ball. And that kills me, because that's him being more worried about what he's got to be as opposed to doing his job first. So I'm not a fan of that. So just a little bit below par, because winning hitouts, brilliant. Do more.
Fair. This one's a little split between 4s and 5s. Oof. Can't do 0.5s. We'll keep it at a 4 for now.
Chesney.
I gave him a pass mark. He's having a good year. He continues to find consistency in the way he plays. So I gave him the pass mark.
You have to give him more than a pass mark, chat, for one reason. He is the only midfielder in the team that didn't kick to Darcy Moore. Chesney, my boy, my brother. Let's be honest. I enjoyed Chera. He created 2 goals as well, where he was the only player that didn't do that fucking kick 67 meters away from goal on the left-hand touchline and just bomb it to the same place 45 meters on an angle and just miraculously hope that Harry or Charlie pluck it out of the air. So fair play to him. This, for me, symbolises the problem at the moment with the football club, that Chera suddenly looks our most tough midfielder. Like, that's no disrespect to him, but Chera reminds me on a cold northern morning would wear a pair of gloves, right? He's now hard. He's now the hardest. And that's not his job, man. That's not his job. He should be he's the sprinkles on the cake. At the moment, he's the muffin.
Yeah, well, he's showing development. One of the few, I would say, that's continued on from last year and shown a bit more growth. So I will bring Chera up to a 6. How about that?
Mic drop.
Kennedy. Again, very easily summarized. Just needed some more. I thought he actually started relatively okay. And then I remember him fading out and then sort of in and out of the game again. Just needed a bit more.
Yeah, like the midfield group is a bizarre group because they get some sexy numbers, but it's kind of just meh, innit? Like it would be one of them weird things if we were analysing Carlton. Someone actually asked me the other day, a rival fan channel. He always enjoys me just downplaying an opposition side, even though I big them up in the off season. I'll downplay them when we play them. Our side would be, he asked me how would I describe our midfield, and I was like, all cock, no bollocks. Looks impressive, but it ain't doing its job. End of the day. And it's a weird thing. Like Kennedy, just lift a bit. One of them has to lift with Chera. And he did a good job, though, against Taylor Adams. I enjoyed his one-on-one with Taylor Adams. I thought that was a good battle, which usually does us a bit bad. But yeah, just someone needs to go in that midfield. Like, do something.
Yeah.
Do something.
Yeah, fair. I think, quite a few 4s. Get a few more votes in, guys, so I can round this up. A couple of 5s, a 6. All right, we'll keep it at a 4. It wasn't quite enough in the chat to bring that up. Ollie, young Ollie, he was subbed out. I wasn't watching on the screen, obviously. Was there commentary around the sub or anything like that? Was he hindered? Was something going on? I'm not sure.
Well, when he got subbed off, I think they gave about 8 different fucking explanations. It might be a soft tissue-ish injury. I mean, I think the official club reasoning is tactical.
Okay.
Or if you're Dermy, tactical. He misses the C out. It's an interesting one with Ollie because I understood why we did it. I did understand why we did the sub. I thought bringing bringing in Hewitt made sense because someone needed to fucking maximise what we were doing there. I said it 2 weeks ago. Everyone slated me, even though he's my boy. Said it last week and I got slated for it. Needs a rest. Why the fuck are we playing him in these games? Like, is it bad enough we've got half a list on 30% win streaks? Why are you fucking doing it to this kid? Could be in the VFL having a laugh against Williamstown's postman. But yeah, tough day.
Yeah, this one was a bit different because he didn't play a full game and get a 3 out of 10. He played, what was it, 2 and a bit quarters and was probably on track for a pass mark. So, but I didn't feel like it was fair to not give him a rating because he was subbed. So I thought he did enough to get a vote or to get 3 votes. So it was an interesting one. And also we've got to take into account, we're about to play 3 games in 12 days. You know, Sydney Friday.
I thought he was better than Cottrell because he's got more meters gained than Cottrell, and he played half a game.
Right.
And Cottrell was his direct replacement. But maybe a chance for a bit of bins action.
Yes. All right. Sam Walsh falls across the board. Tried his guts out. No issue there. Always does. But yeah, the standard to Walsh is high because he said it himself. It's not different to Wiedering. They set the bar very high for themselves. I reckon he'd be looking at that game and he'd be demanding a bit more from himself too.
It was a weird game from Walsh because when he did get the ball, some of his just hit like I've never seen he's never been a crack kick or a guy that you look at and think, fuck, he's going to tear a team apart with the ball. What you know about him, though, is when he gets the ball, he's going to make the right decision. And sometimes it doesn't come off, but you're like, okay, cool. I can see what you did there. And that turns me on. But like there was that kick in the second half where he's blazed through, he's received the handball, and you're like, yes, Sam's going to use it. And out of nowhere, he chooses the switch kick, right? Which I have no idea why first he did that because there was an option right in front of him. But then he placed it straight out of bounds under no pressure. And I'm like, who the fuck was that? And I had to check. It was Walsh. I was like, that wasn't Walsh. Walsh wouldn't do that. Weird, uncharacteristic. He's entitled to a bad day, though, to be fair. I'll give him it.
Yeah, his bad days are never too bad. That's the beauty of him. I will keep this one at a 4. Jordan Boyd. I gave him a 4 as well. Came in for Chincotta. I thought he worked his way into the game. Put his body on the line. Do you see that contest? I think it might have been in the 3rd or the 4th. I thought he was out cold. It reminded me of Wellingham, the hit Wellingham did on Cade Simpson years ago. And he just got up straight away. I thought he got better as the game went on, but still, again, need more.
Guy hasn't played AFL football for what seems a lifetime. The 4 score involvements, I liked. I felt like you saw why he was there because I'll give this guy one thing. When he does get the ball, he doesn't fuck about with it.
Yep.
Probably the only player in the Carlton backline that knows that you're legally allowed to kick it into the middle of the ground, the corridor. So I like that. I love his hairband as well. I think that's a good look considering his hair's not long enough. Big fan. He was rusty at start. He came in. He came into the game towards the end, and that kick to Harry, fuck me, can he deliver it inside 50 all the time?
I know, right? He's got that. He's got that mentality of when he gets the ball, he's looking for that kick that we want. He lowers his eyes. He executes it. He's a beautiful kicker of the football, and I can tell why they like him. Needs a few more weeks probably just to get up to the speed of the game. We'll need him against the Swans this week, I think. So we will see. What do the chat say?
No, backline as well, Sydney.
True. What do the chat say? 3s, 4s, 2s, 1s. I think we will bring this. Ooh, chat, help me out. I'll give you 20 more seconds. It's a tough one, this one, because it wasn't a pass mark, I didn't feel, but it wasn't poor. All right. I'll keep it at a 4.
Can I just say, chatter light with horse coming to Carlton. You've got more chance of me posting on Instagram and Twitter me riding a fucking horse than you have of Carlton replacing Voss with horse.
And finally, Matt Owies just goes about it the way we like our players to go about it. Plays with passion, plays with heart, plays with desire, hit the scoreboard twice, threw himself around. And we talk about the structure of the small forwards. And yeah, I think early in the season we spoke about it as well. Like, he's somewhat a senior there in the forward line, especially for the smalls.
Adapted his game as well. It looks like Corey Durden is playing the more defensive mindset role. Owies has definitely got that license to stay forward, kind of libs at Curno's feet. I'd like to give him more. I just couldn't find a reason to give him more, but I did enjoy when he kicked the goal and he ran to the crowd and said, make some fucking noise. And you can actually see clearly lip red. And I was like, yes, lad, that's what I'm on about. It's why we fucking pay you the poultry fee we're probably paying you. I love Matty Owies. I tell you what, I don't want to hear anyone drop him for the rest of the year at all.
Love it. Well, I'm actually going to bring him up from what we've both given him. The chatter on him. We'll bring him up to a 6. Fair play, chat. Now, Hewitt didn't give him a rating because he played a quarter and a bit. Is that right? He played.
Came on at half time, didn't he?
Did he? He did too. Oh, okay. Maybe he needs a rating.
We can give him a rating right now, Terry. You tell me what you want to give Georgie, and I will do it.
If Hollands gets a 3, Hewitt gets a 3.
I think that's fair.
I would give Hewitt a 3. I think also, I mean, there was the selection, right? Putting him as the sub. So going into the game, I thought, all right, we're going to need something to close out the game because we know if it's in the balance, Collingwood will come the way they do. So to have a guy like George Hewitt come into the game late as a sub, I thought, okay, we're going to get impact from him. Also, again, 3 games in 12 days coming up. Game on Friday night and the game of the following Friday as well. So could be part of managing him, which is something we've probably criticized the club for in the past when it comes to managing the players. So who knows?
I've got to say, I wasn't here for teams, but when I heard the news that George Hewitt was sub, I still stand by it. Single fucking stupidest thing I've ever heard. I mean, what a ridiculous sub that is. But I mean, he came on, didn't he? He did his job. Did he knock the walls down? I don't think so. Did it change the game? I don't really believe so. I would have loved, and I know this is up to the selection committee, I'd just love us to be a little bit creative with that sub. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've had Kennedy as a sub, him as a sub. Like, would it hurt us to put Binns as a sub? Like, I know fans hate debuting as a sub, but honestly, I don't care. I personally think it's easier to sub as a debut. I think it's a good place to dub. Why can't we do that?
Yeah, fair. All right, I'm going to give Georgie boy. Wait, okay, that was Owies. Chat, what do you think about George? I see 2. I see 6. I see 2. What'd you give him, Pom?
I will give him. I've just down. Hopefully, this works.
Oh, are you creating it?
I'm creating it as we speak, but I've forgot to remove the green screen. But I gave him a 3.
Okay, I think I'll just keep that one at a 3. We'll do that.
I think a 3 or a 2 is fair, but I think it's tough to analyze a sub. Like,
very,
to be honest,
very. Yeah, I just felt like, you play a half. You didn't do nothing. Like, they didn't do nothing, but they didn't get the full game into them. So it's a tough one. It's semantics. Nonetheless,
do you know who the perfect sub would be? He's not on our list anymore. But Eddie Betts.
Yeah. Be careful, mate, because you'll get
no. But I said it last year when he was on the list. I wish we could sub when he was on when we first had the sub rule. I
Yeah.
wish you could fabricate it. But how good would it be to have someone like Eddie Betts, who's a little bit old, but you know if you give him a quarter, he's going to be quick? Wouldn't it be great to, like, why can't Carlton do that? Like, honestly, Voss, if you're listening, stop picking players that don't change games as subs. Give me, like, even if it was TDK and gone, right, okay, these inside 50s are dog shit. Let's just throw a big tall up there, big muffin up there.
Very interesting. Well, listen, 50 minutes has come and gone. That is the player ratings for round 10. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Now, go away for 10 minutes, make yourself a cup of tea, because at 7 p.m., the Blue Abroad show will be on. Pommy and I will be there. I've got a long-ass fan cams compilation, which just captured all of it, which I'm excited to share, and we'll just talk our way through it. Pommy, thanks for being here. See you guys in 10 minutes for the Blue Abroad show.
Can't wait.